Okay, hi and welcome to Homo Ludens, the channel on history and board games. This is the second part of our series on Pax Penning with Matilda and Luke this time. And the purpose of this video is to have a bit of an overview of how the game plays. So that's a bit of a preview, but most of the components is final, right, Matilda?
Most of the components are final. If I would say that anything is not final right now, it would probably be the screens. The artwork is pretty good. The artwork is final, but the like material, size, that kind of thing is not. Other than that, everything is pretty much final.
Great. And the rules also, you're happy with the rules as they are?
I'm generally very happy with the rules.
Great.
I could tinker with them forever, but I think I would rather not.
Yeah. And I think we've been playing quite a couple, like 2 or 3 times, I think.
I've played 3 times now. You've played a couple.
I played 2 times, and both time was awesome. So I think you shouldn't tinker too much. We want the game to be released, Matilda.
Please go. It is ready. Yeah.
Remember, you need to
Yeah. Sorry, I need to be like, give it to me.
give it to me. So should we start maybe with the setup?
Yeah. So the setup is relatively simple. It's not as simple as turncoats, unfortunately, but this is a more complicated game. So the map is the game board is divided into 4 different parts. We have the hierarchy here on the end. It is randomly set up, except the king's coin here is at the bottom. Each of these are random, and this is like it ties into the general victory conditions of the game, and being high on it is good.
Yeah. And this represents the king, and those are the 3 players.
Exactly. On this side, we have the market. The market is filled with chess pieces, and each of them represents an action. The empty bowls are used for the king action, and this one represents the pawn. What they do in there, I'll get to what each of them do a bit later. But generally on your turn, you can reach the bowls depending on how many of the king's coins you have on the penny side. Whereas if you have the silver side, you get more resources instead because you don't believe in taxes. That's a bit simplified, but it's...
Yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah. And here we have Sigtuna, which is sort of like a general player resource area. When you would gain resources, you get to place stones here, which you can then exchange for more dice, which is more good, as we all know.
Yeah.
And here, finally, we have the central roll and move area in the middle of the board. So the pawns here move down on the little diamond steps, and so the dice block a road, so you can't go there. And whenever you would pass a player's stone in a crossroads, which is a rune stone here, then that player gets to place a stone in Sigtuna. So, for example, if I were to make this move and go like so, then each of us would get to place a stone in Sigtuna. On your turn, you do it has a 4 turn. You have 4 things you do on your turn. The first thing you do is you gather dice, and this is so. First off, you gain 1 free die for every single silver coin that you have.
So this is... Oh, I'm gonna wait for the autofocus. So that's that's the silver side, and that's the king size. King side.
The penning.
Yeah, the
It
penning.
is the eponymous penning, which is, by the way, the same word as penny. So if you feel like penning is weird to say, you can just call them pennies.
Okay.
So you get that many dice, and then you also get 1 die for each stone you spend from Sigtuna. You can spend your own stones, and then they go back to your screen. Or you can, with permission, spend another player's stones.
And you get them in your...
Yeah, and these go back behind your screen anyway. Because these screens, they tend to be a bit of a mess of all sorts of colors. We'll get to why that's important later. So you get 1 die for each silver you have, 1, and then I spend 2 stones from Sigtuna, which gets me 2 more dice. 3 dice in total. I'm gonna then roll them, and then you do a thing where you check for if you got any pairs. If you got any pairs, you get to take 1 of 2 actions, which is either you get to flip 1 of your coins, or any player's coin. So you can flip any coin that you want. or you can swap place of 2 adjacent pieces in the hierarchy. So this is a very important thing for the victory. And then you also get to put a stone in someone else's screen.
Thank you. Just what I always wanted.
And then you choose like which chess pieces you want to use.
Yeah.
So I'll just go over all of them really quickly. The king lets you place the empty king bowl lets you place a stone anywhere on the board to create a rune stone. And then you use one of the dice that you got, like die results, and move the king that many steps. So if I got a 2 here, I can move him on. So he moves in like a circle around the board itself, and then when he gets back here, that's the end of a round.
Yeah.
So if I use a 2, I can move 1, 2 onto Fred's coins, because the coins are king's stepping stones, and I will block one of his coins. So now we can't use it while the king is like sitting there and just taking up space.
So if it was here, it would prevent me from rolling an extra dice.
Yep.
And if it's here, it prevents me from going higher up for the powers.
Exactly. So that is the king. He places rune stones and moves the king around. The king and his itinerary court, which is the correct historical term, I think. The pawn, on the other hand, is also pretty simple. You just die result that you had. You move the pawn that many steps, and like when you pass rune stones or when you pass rune stones, that player gets a stone in Sigtuna. And when you reach Sigtuna, you get to place a stone and then return him to anyone like starting star of your turns. Next up, we have the knight. The knight lets you you give him a die, like you always give the pieces one of the dice that you rolled, and he can remove a die on the road, a roadblock, with equal or less pips. So for example, if I had a 2 here, I could remove the 1, but not any of the 4s or 5s that are currently on the board. The rook, on the other hand, he does the opposite. He just takes the die that you rolled and places it out on the map, causing trouble.
And the dice are component limited in the game.
The dice are component limited. The slow pawn, does the same thing as the normal pawn. It's just that it's a piece in the part of the market that moves. And the bishop is a fun little guy. He takes, however, for the die that you give him, you can then give that many stones from your house to another player's house. And I'm going to get to why that is important.
Yeah.
We're talking about the victory conditions. There are basically 2 victory conditions in the game. Either you are with the king when the game ends, that is like when he has succeeds on 2 checks.
Yeah.
Or if he is at the top of the hierarchy when the game ends after the 3rd round.
But does it need to be on that side, or can it be at the top of the hierarchy on that side too?
He can be on top
Okay.
at the silver side.
And in that case, who wins?
The king.
King.
Yeah, the king wins, and then the player with the most of their coins on his side wins. So in this case, both me and Fred have 2 of the king's coins,
I've got 3.
and Luke got 3 of them, so he would have won. On the other hand, if the king has failed after the 3rd round and has not succeeded on 2 checks, 2 out of the possible checks, and he's not at the top of the hierarchy, then the player at the top of the hierarchy wins.
Yeah.
And if you have if
let's
you have
say,
the most of the king's coins, you are disqualified from this victory because you become like a fall guy.
Okay. And if we are tied, for example, Luke and I, for the most influence with the king, this is the tiebreaker?
Yes, this is also the tiebreaker in case you are tied in the king's victory.
Okay, great.
And the third and funkiest step, if I may say so, is like you can just steal people's victories in this game. Yeah. And how that works is at the end of the game, everyone reveals their screens. And let's say that Fred won, but actually I had a ton of my stones in his house. Then I get to steal his victory.
Yeah, because you have more influence on my house.
Yeah, I
yeah.
own your house basically. So I get the victory instead.
But
yeah.
Let's play like a full round of For the King, and
Yep.
so we can resolve each of the different actions
Sounds
and
good.
see how it goes. Awesome. Here are your Oh, sorry.
Starting one track. There you go.
You should have 4. You should have 4 of these.
Yeah, but I have. So you're giving each of us 4. You're going to be the start player.
Yeah.
So this is the status for me.
Yeah.
And we're still
Alright,
recording.
we have already set up the board here, but the things you would do normally is that you would place a rune stone and a roadblock, and then you also get a starting capital of 4 stones here in Sig 2 now. And you also give a bunch of stones of your stones to the other players.
So I need to give 4 to Luke right now.
Yeah, exactly. Normally you give 2, but because we are playing at like 3 player, we each start with like an extra coin and an extra rune stone. And also by giving each other like more stones.
Thanks, Fred. That's total junk.
I already have yours.
Ah, you already have mine?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. So I am currently at the top.
You didn't give me yours though. What?
Okay.
An asshole.
That's what I'm here for.
So I am at the top of the hierarchy right now, which means that I go first. I have 1 silver, so I get 1 die, and then I choose to spend 2 stones from Sig 2 to roll 3 dice in total. No matter how many dice you roll, you only get to resolve 2 chess pieces. Instead, the reason you would want to like have more dice is so you can have better
Odds.
control of your results and better odds for pairs. I did not get any pairs. I got 1, 3, and 5. So my options are: I have two pennings, so I can basically just reach 1 king action and 1 pawn action. So that is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start by using the 1 on the king. I get to place a rune stone. I'm gonna go with it right here, I think. It's not a super great position, but there's like also not that many great options right now.
Yeah, we're not playing
There's a lot
competitively.
of roadblocks as well.
There's a lot of
roadblocks.
There's a lot of roadblocks right now. And then I get to move the king 1 step, and he's gonna step right up to Fred's only silver.
So that was my only income coin. So that's pretty awful.
So I'm
The
gonna.
meanest
So
move
this is
possible.
a mean person right now. So that's your turn done.
No, that was 1 action done, and for my second, I'm gonna do a pawn. Pawn 5. So I get to move this pawn 5 steps, and the red ones counts for twice as many. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So each of us get a stone in Sig 2. See, Fred, I'm being nice.
So, Matilda, is this a roll and move game?
Yes, it is a roll and move game. Also, important thing is that when you place stones, which you do like a bunch of different times, it is generally from your house. It does not have to be of your own color, which is a good way to get rid of stuff when you have a lot of like useless nephews and whatnot, just taking up space and inheriting all your hard-earned silver.
So that's gonna be my turn now, right?
Yes. Also, another important thing. You don't spend this money. It is not a functional economy. You don't spend the money.
I'm getting 3 stones from Sig 2 now. That means I'm gonna roll 3 dice. And 3, 4, 5. It's not what I wanted.
So no pairs there.
It's not what I wanted. No pairs. Very sad. What will I do? I can go up to 2 because I have 2 penning. So that means that I can go up.
Final step. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
You move these down.
Yeah, so I could actually place and remove a roadblock. The first thing that I'm gonna do though is I'm gonna do the king.
No, don't do it, Fred. Please. Ah.
1, 2, 3. That's that. And my second action is going to.
Don't forget to place the runes.
Yes. I'm gonna place it here. That's what I'm gonna do. So it's gonna go here. I have a runestone here, and interesting.
Do you want me to cooperate on this road, or do you want me to not?
We could cooperate, but then again, yeah, I need to remove that roadblock, whatever happens. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use the. Does it have to match or
Great
Higher,
man or
it needs to be higher.
higher or match or
Yeah,
equal,
equal or higher. So, but that doesn't matter. Then I'm
Yeah.
going to do this to remove that.
Yeah,
So that's my second action, and now it goes to Luke.
yeah.
So this goes down because I used it, so it will go up here, and this goes here. Nice.
Right. So I also have 0 of the silver ones available, but 2 king coins and 1 blocked. So I'm also going to spend 3 of these. So rolling 3 dice. Please some doubles, that'd be nice. Nope. 5, 2, and 1.
Not a single
Okay.
double.
Well, you know,
We need a double at some point. Just
I don't like you two being all chummy and like freeing up the road down here. I think we should have the road go this way. So I'm gonna hire some bandits with a 5, and they're gonna go right there. Thank you. Oh yeah, I'm just being helpful.
So rude.
And then
So rude.
and I would like the king off my coins, but the issue is I only have tiny dice for my remaining ones. So let's get a pawn move done.
I think you'll
Also,
run
all
into
my
the
rune
same-
stones are in terrible places.
I think you'll run into the same issue there, where your dice also being super tiny for moving the pawn.
Only tiny moves, right?
If only you had used your big die too.
No,
small
I
die.
stand by my decision. All right, so I'm going to move the king. So I get to place a stone, and I'm going to place a stone. I don't love any of these, but I think we'll just go over here and hope for future cooperation. And then I'm going to move the king 2 steps. He's still sitting on my hospitality. I would have liked to move him on to Matilda's court, but you know.
I really want a. I'm gonna just spend everything. I'm spending.
Right. So sorry, these need to move down, don't they?
I'm spending 3 from Sig2 now, combined with my 1 silver to
So that's a
get.
bold move. You're really trying to get a pair,
I'm really trying to get a pair, which is maybe not the wisest gameplay move,
but it's to demonstrate.
but it's for a demonstrative purpose.
Let's hope you get a pair.
Yes, I got a pair. I got 2 5s, which is very useful. So what this does is, first of all, it lets me flip. Either I can flip one of any one coin, or I can flip around stuff here in the hierarchy. And I think I'm gonna flip.
Matilda, could I ask you to flip one of mine, and in exchange I'll let you use one of my stones in the future from Sigtuna? Would you consider it?
I would. I mean, is that because you're completely broke?
Yeah, it's because I'm completely broke. I'm going to need the money. And I don't think either of you are going to be moving the pawns anytime soon in a way that passes by my rune stones. No one's coming to visit my rune stones. So I'd appreciate a little. I'll be less, less indebted to the king. Right? You'll be pulling me level with you.
I mean, you'll still very much be chummy with the king.
Yeah. But I will no longer be
I
the
really want to
chummiest.
flip one of my own for economy's sake.
Okay.
Gotta say, you know what the economy is. So,
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
It's all right. I'll remember that. Thanks. The king will too. You just really told him to sod off.
Okay, yeah, you can take this because when you roll pass, you also place a stone in another player's house.
Thank you. Just what I always wanted.
It's a Christmas miracle. All right. Then for my turn, let's see. Right now I can only reach king and the pawns, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and do a. It's not super great, no matter how I slice it, but I'm gonna go do a pawn anyway and move this little bugger 5 steps, which gives me another stone in Sigtuna, and because I reached Sigtuna, I also get another stone.
So that's 1 for passing your own, and then 1 for just getting to Sigtuna.
Exactly, and then I get to choose where this one goes, and I think I'm gonna send it here.
And there's no remaining moving after that, right? Once
No.
you go there, it's just to the top and stop.
To the top and stop. And then I think I'm gonna do for teaching purposes. I'm also gonna do a 5 on the king. So I get to place another runestone, which will go.
So this is going to move the king sailing past all of your coins.
Yep, sailing past all of my coins and lands him in Sigtuna.
It's time to hold a thing.
Yeah, he kind of stops there, and then you hold a thing at the end of your turn, which is as funny as it is to say, it is not as funny as you think. Thing is like an ancient term for like in Scandinavian bureaucracy. Basically.
Is it pronounced thing or is it like?
It depends. Like in Swedish, it's called ting, with like a hard T.
Hard T.
But I know like other older forms it uses up more sounds.
Okay.
And it's
I
actually like
king.
still like one of our judicial institutions. It's still called like the landsting, like the country ting,
Nice.
which I think is fun.
So should we?
So, yeah.
Should we do a ting?
Yes, exactly.
Do this ting in fact.
Yeah, exactly. So at the ting, it has 2 steps. First of all, you sort of ask around with the local like movers and shakers, like wealthy peasants, small kings, that kind of, or like local jaws, if they like want to support the king in his nation building effort, basically. And that is us, the players.
Cool.
You go in hierarchy order, and for each player that supports the king, they get to roll a die. I'm choosing not to because like I don't have a lot of his coins. So
Yeah, you
nothing
recently
for me.
told him to just go away.
I just told him to shut up.
I'm choosing to support the king.
Yeah.
I'm definitely supporting the king. I've got three cheers for the king here.
So how this works is that one of them needs to roll over the amount of dice on the map. So in this case, if either of them rolls a 5 or a 6, the king succeeds on the check.
Okay. But it doesn't matter which of us does it, as long as one of us does. Aha!
Exactly. So one
I've
of you
championed the king's cause.
Exactly. So what happens here is that you flip this coin here to the king side, and if you do it, if he succeeds on another check, then the game is over in that king victory and the Thane victory for the player.
So 2 successful checks for the king is enough for the king to win.
Yep.
How many checks can there be in the game?
3 total.
A maximum of 3. Okay,
Yeah.
so he's got to succeed
No.
in pretty short order.
Yeah. And after that, the Vikings return home with more silver from Constantinople and Byzantine and England. Sometimes it's just been taken, and sometimes it's been traded.
And we
And
flip.
this is flipped to see how it lands.
Oh
Then you
yay!
just add it to your
I'm
tableau.
even bigger supporter of the king. I sure love the king. This is not good news. I would really like some money, please. Some actual funds of my own. I've got 1 stone in Sigtuna. I may be coming to you for loans.
Yeah, we'll see.
Stone
we'll
loans,
see about
please.
that.
So I'm gonna get.
I actually think this is a pretty good place to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done like each of us has done a turn, and we've also done a thing.
Yeah.
So that is like basically how the game operates. You do your turns, you do your roll moves, and then at the end you try to be on the winning side, win within your own within that victory condition, and also make sure you own your house, which I did in that previous case.
Or just steal victory from someone else.
Or just steal victory from someone else.
For now, it was fine. We were also fine.
We were all fine
Yeah,
for now, but
because it was just the
but
beginning.
this
bishop,
guy
yeah.
tends to really screw it up.
Because the bishop can allow a transfer of 6 stones at the same time.
Up to 6, yeah.
Which is very funny for either just someone who spent the entire game getting nest behind you and going like flush down the loop, or just sneaking in at the last moment.
The bishop can push 6 stones into someone's supply if you roll well, and that is quite a lot of stones, if I'm honest. That is the game.
Great, but I think that does it for the demo of Pax Penning. Thanks again, Matilda, for taking the time to showing us this game. Do you have any idea of when it's going to be out?
This year, like I've already placed bulk orders for like the chess pieces and the coins. So, and like I'm just working out like the final pieces of graphic design for like the board. It is pretty much final. This part is gonna change, and we're probably gonna like shrink down this bit to just have more space for the islets. But like that's tiny details, and then just write rules, print everything, package it. Try to have like copies ready ahead of time, so we don't get like super overwhelmed, and just get like lost in.
How many pre-order do you have right now already?
I don't know, like 600-700.
Yeah, so you need to have quite a few copies ready to go. Good, but we're looking forward to it. Thanks again for showing us the game. Super excited for it to be out, and Remember to subscribe and all those things, and support the channel on Ko-fi. Thank you. Bye bye.